All right, welcome back to the rough example Datsun 510 project. I've got a few updates for you this week. I have been working on getting the doors put back together. You can see I got the latches back in here. Um, and this thing just kind of runs across to there. These were covered in grease, so I put them in a little soak tank kind of thing. It's just this little red tank. I mean, anything would work, but basically it has a grate in there that keeps the nuts and bolts and stuff from getting lost. But I just threw some degreaser in there and cleaned up these latches. Um, so yeah, those are in there. They might need a full rebuild or something because I think there's these things here are actually supposed to be coated in rubber, and the rubber was just gone on mine. Um, I don't know how I'm going to figure that out. Um, Maybe I'll have to buy new ones, but anyway, just working through that. Working through the door seals, or for the glass and all of that. Um, this morning I put the dashboard in and the HVAC unit, which feels like a big step. Um, just as an FYI, you do need to. In my case, I needed to put the HVAC in first and then remove the dash. I had done the dash first and I couldn't get it to fit. So I recorded a little walkthrough on that as well. Um, so yeah, that's starting to feel real. I'll start cleaning up the glove compartment and the HVAC controls, just all the little details that are going to go into the dashboard. That'll be one of the next steps. Um, then under the hood, I haven't been doing a ton yet, but I did get the pedal box in, which also hooks into the master cylinder for the brakes and for the clutch. Basically, they sandwich the pedal box in, so those will be in there, and then typically this would come out, and I think you have a distribution block proportioning valve type deal right here. I'm going to switch to a Willwood unit. So once the time comes, I'll be making a video on how to do that, but it'll be a little bit different than stock. Um, and I also have been working on, starting to put back the grill and the headlights and everything. The headlights, I got them sandblasted and clear coated, but I realized all of my hardware got sandblasted too. Um, so it's all kind of pitted. So I'm going to be tracking down some new hardware or polishing that or just kind of figuring out what I want to do on that. And then I can get the headlights in there. I think since the last video, I also got the bumpers installed. Those just go on to 2 bolts inside here. And what else have I got for you? Oh, I started putting the gas, the fuel system back together. This piece, there's you can see it from here, basically a big boot, just a rubber boot that hooks on there and sandwiches into that. And I'm still trying to get the the actual filler flap fixed because one of the welds broke on it. So when I weld it, I'm probably gonna have to repaint it, unfortunately. So that's why I haven't put that on there. I also made a separate video about my battery tie down here. I decided to relocate the battery to the back because my battery tray was just completely rusted out, and they say this is helps with the weight balance having the battery further back. um, one thing that was kind of nice was I put some nut certs in here, so this just screws straight on, and you don't have to get underneath the car and put a nut on the back side of it. And then I ran a 0 gauge cable that runs through here. I drilled a hole in back in there and put a grommet in there so it can make it up to the front safely without wearing a hole in the wire casing. So yeah, it's definitely starting to feel a little more real. Got one of the one of the tail lights on here. I was finishing the other one, and you can kind of see it right here. It's a little bit hazy. I was sanding out the other one, and it was just so hazy. I'm trying to decide if I just want to buy new lenses because I don't want to take like too much plastic off. So that's why I've only done this one. I'm just gonna let it sit for a little while and see if that haze comes back, and if it does, then I might just have to replace them. So the other thing I'm working on today is this steering column. This is the part that bolts onto the firewall, and this was all ruined because when the previous owner had the car, he had let the brakes get leaky, and there was just brake fluid leaking all over it, which eats through paint. And so this thing had like half the paint was just peeling off, and so I stripped this down, just totally sanded it down with like a roll lock, and put a fresh coat of paint on that. So once this is dried up, then I'll be putting it into the front of the car. Yeah, one thing that I've been working on a lot this week is hardware. I have found that it is really hard to find these stock, I think it's like JIS, Japanese International Standard type bolts locally. So I'm just trying to put together an order on these. I found a website that I think it's for like off-road stuff, like you call it like Forerunners and mostly Toyotas, and they stock a lot of these. So I'm trying to make them work for now, but I'm probably gonna have to replace a lot of those. I got my gas tank out. I'm going to be working on that as well. It's covered in dust right now, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do on this gas tank because it's got this huge Aeromotive fuel pump with 2 filters on it, and it's actually a really nice pump. I think it's like an $800 setup, but it is extremely loud. So I'm trying to decide if I want to go with something a little more quiet, like an in-tank type setup, maybe a Walbro or something. But anyway, this is going to get cleaned up this week. I got to get rid of the gas that's in there and get that all kind of disposed of and cleaned up. And I think that on this tank here, I'm going to go and get all new hoses because these are really crispy. They'll probably just snap off, but just all the little details that make it a nice build or not a nice build. So I think that's about all I've been working on this week, and yeah, hopefully I can keep you guys posted and do some more individual videos on some of these details. But I appreciate you watching, and feel free to check out Rough Example on Instagram as well. Thanks.